Hi, my name is Dave Carr from Visionary Software again. Back here to talk about CRM rules. So again, very simple to go back to create a rule that does some required fields and setting values. So the question is, what else can we do with CRM rules? So we're now going to explore the actions in a little more detail here. We have, actually the easiest way to do that is to probably open up an action form. So we'll open up a new action form. So when you do this, the action type, we have a lot of code that runs on action type. So here's all the action types you can do. For example, hiding a field. So if you select that action type, you now notice this field name shows up. That's the only thing we really need to know about hiding a field is what field. So we have hide field, we have show field, the inverse, hide tab and show tab. And again, if we do that, it's going to ask us for different information to ask us for the form and the tab that we need to hide. And another one here is hide section and show section, and that's going to ask you for your section. So as you see, every time we change the action type, our form changes to capture the information we want to capture for that rule type. Required fields, we just showed you that we can make a field required, recommended, or not required. We've done the hide fields, and show tabs. Always submit field. And this is for if you have a read-only field on a form and you have some script that changes the value of it, that value won't be stored in database unless you kick off always submit field for that. And kind of a technical action, but it's required for some operations. Disabling a field, we can set it so you cannot type anything into that field, makes it read-only, or take a field that is read-only and enable it. We have a lot of fields that set value. I'm going to skip that set to null for right now. Set focus is another fairly technical one that just basically says what field do you want the focus to be on. This is useful if you have an error message on a field and you display an alert and then want to show that field. That field evaluation one is that alert message, so you can evaluate a field and then display an alert if that field is if the conditions are true. In other words, if your conditions say, hey, don't allow a save of record if we don't have an email address for this end user type, then we can create that alert, and then you can set the focus to that email field. Fire on change is another kind of a technical thing. If you have event handlers under one field and you set that field's value, usually you want to run those other event handlers to take another action based on that new value you have in that field, and that's the way to force that action. We've talked about hiding and showing sections before and illustrated that. Expanding and collapsing a tab like you can by clicking the plus sign on the UI. Run rule. This is a great one because you can now nest your rules. So you can have one rule that's an if condition and calls another one that's a switch case and calls another one that's an if then. So there's a lot of things you can do on this run rule structure, so to nest your rules and to make them any level of complexity. Run workflow is very interesting. If you build a workflow in CRM currently, you'll notice, and it fires on save, you'll notice that that workflow runs every single time you save the record, even if it doesn't really do anything. And that makes that workflows tab on that left nav bar of the detail record pretty much unusable for users if they're trying to figure out what happened. So if you use our product and instead put the conditions into CRM rules, then we will only run that workflow when it has something to do. So that makes your left-hand nav bar for workflows now give a good audit log of all the automated processes you've applied to this record that actually did something to that record. We talked about setting fields. We can set a field to blanks. Basically, that's what the set to null is. That works for text or dates or integers or anything like that. We can set a field value to a constant. So set a field value to a date or set a option set list value, whatever you want to do. We can set one field equal to another field. This is used often when you've got a lookup or an option set. Maybe you have a couple of different ones that could be filled in variously based on your conditions, and you want to just show one of those on your view. So I create another text field, and then I'll set the field value of that text field to the value of the pick list or the option set. And that way you can have a consistent, that one field will always have a value in it on your view. We can set a field to a derived string concatenation value. This is great for setting the name fields on your different entities. Usually, like for example, opportunity, you might want to set the name field to be, customer name, status, close percent, close date, or something like that. So you can add those fields together and create that, derive that string and plop that in the name field. We can also set a field to the value from another entity, which is the same as setting a field to the other value, but we've got some different code we have to write, and I'm going to show you that in 1 second. So this allows you to, for example, if you've got a field in the account that you need to do some rule checking on the contact, well, CRM out of the box allows you to map that field value, but if that field value later on changes on the account, you really need a way to go back and get that value, get the latest version of that value. So currently, what we have you do is duplicate that field on the contact, and then use a set value to field from other entity to set that value. We can also set option set lists so that if you have an option set that's got 20 values and maybe only 5 display under these conditions and 10 display under these conditions and 7 under these conditions, well, we can set that up so that works without you having to write any code to do that. That's the set option set list one. We also allow you to put in your own custom JScript, just anything you may have written that is not in our library. That's so you can basically have a complete library of code in CRM Rules, and we've got some reporting functions that we'll show in later videos that will show you why you might want to do that. And you can format a phone number to a certain syntax with parentheses and dashes in there. I'm going to take this set field to value from other entity for a second and show you some complex code we can write. So I'm going to say on the contact entity, we want to set the field name, and this is just going to be kind of nonsense. So I just want to show you the code that gets written here. So I'm going to set the address 1 city on the contact. We'll set it, the other entity is the account, and we'll get the value from the address 1 city on the account. Now this is our where clause we're building out here. So the related field on the other entity, so we're going to link this up to parent account to account. So that's just the account ID, and on this entity we need to use the parent account to get back there, to link up to the parent customer. Link up to the parent account that has that value. So that's all the action we need there. I'm going to set address 1 to contact address 1 city. I'm going to save and close that action, and I'm going to go back out and build a new rule to show you how a simple little form like this can generate a whole bunch of code. Just go quickly create a new rule. Doesn't have any conditions. Show code, and this is going to be on the contact entity. Rule type is simple if then else. Function type is test. I'm going to save that, and then I'm going to add my action we just built to show you and then generate the code so we can show you what that code will look like when you're trying to grab a value from another entity. Add a new rule action. We can go ahead and pick our action. There it is. And save and close that. And then if I come up here quickly, hit validate, we will generate a bunch of code using OData queries and all kinds of technical stuff that now you don't have to learn about if you just use our product to do this kind of work. That is now the generated code. So you can see we get the parent customer ID. We parse that out into its 3 component parts. We have to do retrieve parent customer callbacks here. So all this code is from that one little function that we said to get the field value. So here's basically it's setting the value here if it has the field in there. The field is in there at once. So that's the example of setting a field from another entity. So you can see we can generate quite a bit of code when you ask us for a request there. And again, we have a little flower box here. We create the documents, everything. We try to document things as we go through it as well. So that's a real quick overview of all the things you can do with CRM Rules to date. We'll be adding new videos when we add new functionality. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call us. For more information, you can go to crm-rules.com or vscrm.com or send an email to sales@vscrm.com. That's Visionary Software CRM.com. Thanks for your time. I hope you've learned some new exciting features you can implement with CRM Rules, and we'll catch you on the next video. Have a great day.